Hey guys, Marissa here and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to film just a bit of a check-in video and chat at you guys about how I'm doing, see how you're doing, and how we're all kind of handling the current international health crisis. Now, I don't know if this is still true, but a couple of weeks ago I know that if you were to mention the name of the thing that's going on in your video got demonetized and your channel got looked at and all that. So I am not going to name the thing just in case that is still going on. I'm going to just call it CV. So the CV crisis right now is obviously first and foremost, I think, on most people's minds. And I just wanted to kind of chat at you guys about how it's impacting my life and things here on the channel. So first of all, how am I doing personally? Very surprisingly, my life is going relatively well right now. I'm relatively unaffected. I am in the very fortunate position where I have a job that allows me to work from home, where I'm going to continue to get my full salary for the time being, and where I still have all my health benefits and everything. So if something was to go wrong, I at least have all of that safety net. I do not take any of that lightly, because only last year did I join a company and fall into a job where I have all of that wonderful safety net. Just a year and a half ago, I was in a very different position. So I'm so very thankful that that this crisis hit at a time in my life where I am relatively stable. One of the reasons I'm able to continue working from home is that the industry that my company falls under, we fall under construction, both public works and private land development construction. That has all been deemed an essential industry by the federal government. So although California overall is in a shutdown, stay-at-home order mode, where most businesses have shut down, essential businesses have been able to remain open, and therefore I am still able to continue working. My company is still operating and running business as close to usual as possible. Now, as IT coordinator, I have been so incredibly busy. I can't even describe this to you guys. Last week was kind of a wash as it came to actual work, because it was just a lot of coordinating. Luckily, we already had work from home protocols set up, simply because we have a lot of parents, and my company is a small company that's very, very flexible when it comes to working in office, from home, wherever you want to work from. So we already had all that set up, thankfully. But there's a lot of new software now, like Zoom and other kind of virtual meeting opportunities. We were forwarding calls, we were making changes to people's, increasing their ability to do work on their phones. It's just been a little bit crazy. Also, just want to say a massive thank you to all of those IT workers out there. I had to call our, so I'm like IT coordinator, but then we have an outside IT company that does all the heavy IT work. And I had to call them last Friday, and whoever answered the phone was literally panting, like they had sprinted to the phone, and they were just completely overwhelmed with requests for support. So I just want to say thank you to all the IT workers out there, especially if you have to go into your clients' offices and expose yourself to potential risk by being among people you're not normally. Thank you very much. I know you're doing the good work out there. You're making it possible for all the rest of us to keep doing what we do. So huge shout out to you guys out there, if you happen to be watching. In addition to doing IT coordination for my company, I also help on the business administration side, doing a lot of our billing and invoicing and just like other financial stuff, which have unfortunately required me to go into the office. Now, luckily in our building, we only had 2 other tenants, and I believe the majority of their staff is also working from home. So there's not a huge risk of coming into contact with too many people. Our office is also incredibly spread out. Although most people are working from home, the few of us who have had to go into the office, we are completely able to social distance, and we're maintaining increased hygiene practices and social distancing and all that. However, it does make me feel a little bit exposed, simply because I handle mail a lot, I touch other people's computers all the time, and to be frank, my hands are just, they feel like they're falling off because they're so dry. I have paper cuts and split knuckles on almost every finger, just because I've been washing my hands a ton. That's, I guess, another thing I should mention. I live on my own, like I mentioned, but I typically spend a lot of time at my parents' house on the weekends, and my brother lives with them still, so we all hang out at the house. My parents are slightly older, they would hate me for saying that, but they're in their like mid-60s, so they're kind of getting into that range of people who need to be careful. And my mom in particular is immunocompromised, so I am hyper aware of how much time I need to spend out of the house, how much time I'm spending around other people, washing my hands. When I come in, I take my clothes off, like put on home clothes so that I'm not contaminating anything I have here, so that when I go over to my parents' house, there's less risk of that. And I'm trying to go like maybe once a week. I typically go do laundry, and we'll share a meal. So we're trying to kind of combine groceries, which is great because everything lasts a little longer that way. We're also kind of splitting shopping. So if somebody runs out of something, or needs to go out for whatever reason, we let the other person know. So only one of us is taking the risk of going out and being exposed in that area. So yeah, it's a lot of adjusting how we live, which I'm sure you guys are used to as well, especially if you're watching from somewhere like California or Italy, or, somewhere that is under a lockdown order. I would just say, if I had the option to stay home all day, every day, I would. But as, again, somebody in an essential industry who is unfortunately essential to my company being able to do what we do, I do find that I need to leave the house. So if you don't need to leave the house for whatever reason, if you can stay in, I would recommend doing so. Do it for the people who are in the medical profession, who are already overwhelmed. Trevor Noah said this: do it as if there were zombies outside. I like that idea. If this was a zombie apocalypse or a zombie outbreak, we would all be locking the doors, staying inside, not coming in contact with anyone. So treat it like that. Anyways, I don't want this whole video to be about CV because I feel like we're all tired of talking about it, or at least we all want some more uplifting content, something a little bit more exciting, because if you turn on the TV at any time of day these days, it's kind of, there's a lot of CV talk. Let's be real. I've unfortunately been hooked up with YouTube TV, which is great in many ways, but it's also bad because I now have a cable news addiction. So I'm trying to manage that. One thing I wanted to talk about in this video is kind of a few things that are keeping me sane right now. Number one would be limiting my news time. What I've kind of started doing is allowing myself like an hour or two here or there. So in the morning I will get up and I will listen to NPR news because I find their coverage to be the least alarming. Plus I'm just an NPR stan, OG from the time I was like 5. No big deal. So I will listen to NPR coverage in the morning, and then in the afternoons, I like following NBC News. Our local channel is fantastic. They are providing a lot of really good information without being overly alarmist. So starting around 4, if I'm home, they start the local coverage, and then at 6:30 it's nightly news with Lester Holt. So I like that. I hate to call this news because it's technically late night comedy, but I've also been relying a lot on the late night hosts who are now working from home like the rest of us, and who have basically all turned into YouTubers. I would say that like the variation of how the different late night shows have evolved in this time of work from home is that Trevor Noah is business as usual from your couch. Seth Meyers is dad working from home in his hallway. John Oliver is like, it looked like he got kidnapped and put in some like isolation room by HBO. Jimmy Fallon is dad working from home on a TV show, and the only 2 assistants he has left are his kids. Stephen Colbert has just gone full YouTuber. I mean, he literally groomed his face for us last night on camera. So he's just gone full YouTuber. I feel like that's a Tropic Thunder reference waiting to happen, but I'm not gonna make that one. I've also been probably spending way too much time on Instagram. I have been blowing past all of my like screen limit time on all my apps really, but mainly Instagram. I just find in general that Instagram is a very calming place for me. I like looking at pretty pictures. So in this time of kind of craziness, I find that very soothing, and it's very easy to just mindlessly scroll. I will say I am very surprised at all of these booksgrammers though who are able to keep reading. I have not been able to like physically pick up a book and just like chillax with it for a bit. Number one, because my brain is a bit of a mishmash right now and I'm having focus issues a bit when it comes to longer form non-CV related content, but also because I have just been so incredibly busy. I have not seen a slowdown at all, and so by the time I normally get to sit down in the evenings, it's almost worse than on a usual week. However, I have been listening to the next James Herriot audiobook. I finished All Creatures Great and Small back in February, and I'm now currently listening to All Things Bright and Beautiful, which is the second compilation memoir audiobook thing in, I believe, a trilogy or a 4-book series, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I received a Switch from my brother very, very, very kindly. He and my parents bought this for me last weekend when I was going a little bit crazy, and so I've been playing Stardew Valley on my Switch while listening to James Herriot's memoirs about farming and farm animals, and it's like the perfect happy place right now. So if you're looking for kind of just a light mood boost, escapist book, I would highly, highly recommend checking out the James Herriot books. They are, I keep forgetting my recent reads video hasn't gone up yet. They are a series of books that are semi-fictionalized memoirs about what it was like to be a country veterinarian back in like the 1930s and onwards. So they're quite enjoyable. Oh, in Great Britain, I should say. So they're quite enjoyable. They're light, they're funny, they are full of wonderful characters, and I'm finding those to be really like a soothing balm right now. So I will probably listen to the next 2 books as soon as I'm done with this one. I've also been watching a crap load of Bon Appetit videos, specifically a lot of Chris Morocco's reverse engineering series. I find Chris to be humorous and calming, and he's kind of got that like really steady personality that just makes me feel calm in uncertain times. So I've been watching a lot of those videos. Yeah, I guess cooking is another thing. I know a lot of people went out and panic bought food. I didn't do that. I bought enough. I basically bought a few staples like meat. I bought some bread. I bought frozen vegetables and like three little bags of mini potatoes because there was no pasta or rice or anything like that. Because I am the kind of good Asian daughter I am, I have lots of rice in my house already, so I don't think I will run out of that anytime soon. I also have a bunch of couscous because I'm also a fan of Middle Eastern cooking because thanks mom. That is actually my preferred cooking palette, so I have that too. Not too worried yet. I haven't actually ventured out to the store yet, though my dad, who is used to going into an office every day, has been going stir crazy and has gone to the store a couple of times. So my most recent acquisition was he got me a thing of mushrooms. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I have that and frozen meat, and I'm just enjoying being creative with my food and trying to really like find joy in the process. I kind of got out of the habit of cooking for joy at the end of last year just because I was so busy, but I'm kind of trying to get back into it now. 1, because I need the food to actually last a little bit longer, but 2, because obviously when you can't go anywhere, you have to kind of make your own entertainment. And I think there's nothing wrong with trying to find joy in the everyday things, especially right now. So I think that's kind of it. That's kind of all I have to update you guys on. I actually had a whole February roundup all filmed and semi-edited and everything, but I decided not to put that up simply because I had filmed it like 3 weeks ago, and so it felt very much like it was no longer relevant. And you know, I think it's important to remember that creators online, we don't create in a vacuum. You know, every video is, whether we like it to be or not, influenced by what's going on in our own lives, what's going on in the world at large. And it just felt wrong at this very chaotic moment in time to just like put up a video from 3 weeks ago and pretend like nothing was going on. One video I do have pre-filmed that I think I will still upload is a video I filmed on the first 2 books that I read in 2020. So sometime in the near future that will go up. I also want to say that initially when the California stay-at-home order went out, I thought, oh cool, I can maybe make more videos and, you know, increase my content output during this time. However, these last 2 weeks have been so insanely busy that I don't think that's an option. So I'm going to kind of try and stick to my 1 video a week-ish thing that I've sort of been doing. I definitely have missed weeks here and there. Obviously, I'm not a perfect human, and I knew that was going to happen at the beginning of the year, but unfortunately, life has not slowed down at all. Even while working from home, I was working until 11:45 last night. So I'm still incredibly busy, but I'm still going to try and make videos. I'm kind of trying to use video making as like my lunch break. Anyways, I'm just rambling now. I actually do have to go to work. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're all doing all right wherever you are. If you would like to share a little bit about your current situation in the comments below, I would love that. I think one thing that this whole CV situation has made me better about is communicating. I was joking with my parents that this is probably the best time to be a Marissa friend, because normally I suck at communicating, texting back, emailing, whatever, but I have been very on top of connecting with people recently. Long ramble over. I hope you guys are doing all right wherever you are. I am keeping you guys in my prayers and thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons who are somehow still choosing to support me with their dollars in this crazy time. Thank you guys. I will see you next time, and stay safe, everybody. Okay, bye.